my name is Lady Indana and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'd like to transport you not to the bustling feast hall of a Friday or Saturday night, but instead to a sleepy Sunday morning feast hall. I'm going to be making a French toast bake. For today's recipe, I'm going to be zhuzhing it up with some optional ingredients. The ingredients that I will be using today is 1 loaf of brioche bread, half and half, 5 eggs, butter, dark brown sugar, pecans, turbinado sugar, ground nutmeg, vanilla paste, and cinnamon. The bread that I'm going to be using today is a brioche, which is a enriched dough style of bread. An enriched dough is bread dough that has added fat. In the case of brioche, there's typically added butter to make it more rich and decadent. But you can use any kind of bread that you like. A nice challah would be good, or you could do an Italian loaf, or even if you just have some sandwich bread on hand, you can absolutely use that too. My first step was to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. That's been done, and so my next step is to butter the dish that I'm going to be baking in. So I'm going to take 1 tablespoon of butter, and using a paper towel, I'm going to thoroughly coat my dish. And my butter is a little bit cold because I just took it out of the refrigerator, so this would be easier if I had taken it out earlier. You want to make sure to get the sides as well as the corners. Just really smush that butter all around. Now that the dish has been thoroughly buttered, I'm going to cut my bread into 1-inch cubes. Now that our bread is ready to go, we're going to prepare the custard. So to start off with, I'm going to use 1.5 cups of half and half. You can also use whole milk, or if you're feeling exorbitantly decadent, you could use heavy cream. To the mixture, I'm going to add 5 eggs. Typically, you don't want to ever add an egg directly to something that you're going to mix it in, because if you get an eggshell into the mixture, then it will be harder to fish out. So I'm going to crack an egg into here, add it, repeat. Next to the custard mixture, I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of dark brown sugar. You could substitute white sugar if you wanted, or you could omit it if you wanted to be slightly less decadent. I'm going to add a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 2 teaspoons of vanilla paste. I splurged on the vanilla paste, but you can absolutely use vanilla extract in its place. My final optional ingredient to really jazz up my custard mixture is going to be the zest from one orange. If you don't have a microplane grater, you can use like a regular grater for similar effect. And you want, when you're getting the zest off of a citrus fruit, you want to try to just stick to the outermost layer. You don't want to grate over an area where you've grated before, because the pith has a more bitter flavor than the rind on the very outside. Pro tip, don't drop your orange into your mixture. I'm now going to whisk to combine all the custard ingredients. Making sure to break each of the egg yolks. The froth on the mixture is my indication that this is thoroughly combined. So now I'm going to pour my custard over my bread mix. And I have gloved up so that I can gently toss to make sure that all the pieces get some of that custard. Just kind of lifting the bottom layer to the top, folding it so that every piece gets a chance to absorb the good custard. Now that I can see that most of the custard has been absorbed, I'm gonna even it out. At this point, the French toast bake is almost ready for the oven, or if you're making this the night beforehand, this would be the point where you would cover it up and stick it in the fridge. But then before we put this in the oven, we're gonna make a nice crunchy topping for it. For the topping, I'm gonna start with 4 tablespoons of butter, which I have melted in the microwave. I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of dark brown sugar to that, and a teaspoon of cinnamon, I'm going to add our half a cup of finely diced pecans, and a pinch or 2 of salt. Now I'm gonna mix that up. sure that any chunks of brown sugar get nice and unchunked. And this is going to go on top of our bake. My final optional step before putting this into the oven is going to be 1 teaspoon of turbinado sugar sprinkled on top, and that is going to also add a lovely crunchiness on top. This is going to bake in a 350 Fahrenheit degree oven for 35 to 45 minutes, or until puffy, golden brown, and smelling absolutely amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and put it into the oven. The French toast baked for about 48 minutes, and it's just come out of the oven. I am going to let it sit for 10 minutes before I cut into it. So 10 minutes has passed, and this has cooled a little bit and lost some of its puff. But I'm going to cut out a slice. I'm going to be cutting this into 8 servings, so we're going to cut it halfway down the middle. And in half. And in half. Now let's see if we can get a clean first slice, which is always a challenge no matter what you're baking. So you can top this with maple syrup, a pat of butter, but I'm gonna taste it just plain as it is. I can definitely taste the orange zest, the vanilla, really good, the cinnamon. Thank you for joining me in Indana's kitchen. If you make the French toast bake, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope that you have a great day.